Greetings from QTV. You are watching the Youth Dialogue, and I'm always excited to be here. Of course, as I host young, brilliant people across the country. If you see this yellow, I believe that you will all try to remember months ago I hosted young people with the Social Change Factory, Voice of the Youth. I hosted them, and I told you that whoever wins that particular competition will be going international, that is regional, to compete with other young people across Africa. So the promise has been fulfilled, and here they are. They are here to talk to us about how they intend to go about the competition. They are going to represent the Gambia. They need support all the way. So I said, okay, I have to bring them here so that they will tell the Gambians their plan in relation to the Voice of the Youth competition done there in Dakar, which is coming very, very soon. I think it's around Thursday, am I right? Yeah. So which means Wednesday today, if you watch this, you can still give them recommendations. It's never too late for recommendations, and I know they're young people, and then they will take it up. I have Elizabeth Kinta Gomez here with me, as well as Ibrahim Sawana here with me. You are welcome. As I said before, you are here today to talk about your preparation for the competition. But before that, Kinta, talk to us about, because after the competition at Q City, we didn't have the opportunity to sit down and talk about how that went when you won, and the list goes on. How was the experience? Talk to us about that.
It was kind of a mixed feeling, though. I could remember when they called the results, and it was like first and second position left, and the tension was there. Mulo was trying to come and go. She was trying to bring in stories, but at the end of the day, when GTTI was pronounced winner, at first it was like, am I really sure that I had my my team win? But later on, I realized that hard work pays. Like when we came to the last show that you hosted, that is the TV show, you asked us about how prepared we were. And we made mention that we are the only team that goes the extra mile and sacrificed our time, our everything in depth to ensure that we get victory at the end of the day. So I just realized that hard work pays, and it was kind of a mixed feeling, though, because I was like thinking of all that we went through and all who supported, and the people, how excited they were, especially the students from GTTI and friends and loved ones. It shows that all the time that we spent and all the energy that was in was not just there as wasted. Yeah, you can still remind us on what thematic you were working on. I know there was something like violence against children or women, climate change, child labor, and the list goes on. I think it was climate change. We were working on climate change, and our problematic was deforestation. So our solution was afforestation through agroforestry. So we named our project the Jikiba Project, a Mandinka word, meaning big hope, big. And this is the first time I'm actually speaking Mandinka as such. So it's kind of more exposing me, and I think all of my team members. So that is what we were working on, the Jikiba Project in depth, trying to sensitize people about the community of Badibu Ilyasa, to be specific. That is where we are working, and that is where our project is, and thank God it is growing from step to step. Okay, talk to us about the project, Ibrahim. How is it there? Right there in Badibu, I know you're working on deforestation, having afforestation as a solution. So how is it there? Work in progress, how is it going?
Yeah, work is in earnest since the day that we have launched the project, the competition generally. And that was then we started doing some ground root or basic consultation, you know, meeting the village, the chief, the governor, the alcalde, up to down to the villages. And then that will precipitate down to like having this community interaction and identification of a place that is acquiring the land. Then from there we move on to the work proper, that is the implementation proper. But henceforth I can say the project is in safe hands, because the Jikiba, it's a very visible initiative, because anybody who goes to Badibu Ilyasa and go to the Jikiba Park, you definitely know that these people have put in something that really yielded something nothing less than what they had from the final. So actually the project is in safe hands. The trees are growing very fast, and then, you know, we have established a lot of things in the farm that will serve as, you know, like a sustainability tool for the long living of Jekiba.
Yeah, talking about sustainability, when Kinta and the team, your team, when you presented on that day at Q-City, I was like, is this sustainable? Is this possible? You know, I said that to myself. I'm like, these young people, are they over ambitious? You know, so how is the sustainability aspect of it, and how are you able to sustain the project as well?
Yes, like I said, we made some grassroots consultation. And one thing about these community projects, if you make sure that you reach up to the people concerned, you know, it's always very, very easy for you to be able to sustain that initiative. You know, we have the heart of the villages, we have the heart of the community, and we have the heart of the elders in that community. So, you know, you'll be surprised to see that all our engagement or all our activities in the farm was done with the team GTTI and every single member of that village, including the chief, who would just constantly be taking his vehicle to drop in us to the farm and taking some of the materials. So the sustainability part, you know, if you look at it, there are a few things that I would just have to highlight. You know, the park is situated just 2 or 2.5 kilometers away from the highway, and you know, we have it fenced. Because we understand that there is an area where the people will go with their cattle, you know, for grazing. And we have the area fence. So that will serve as something that will guide us or that will prevent those animals from entering in, so they can chop you know, our ply trees that we've planted. That is one, that area that is sustained. We have established administrative block. And with that, you know, anybody, the focal person in charge of the day-to-day affair of the park will be going there daily to inspect and to water and to do all necessary things in the farm. And that will also help in sustaining this thing.
All right.
So we actually have a lot of things on course, which will definitely unfold during the regional final. And from them henceforth, you will definitely know Jekiba is in safe hands. Yeah,
that's very good. And I like the fact that you talked about the chief was helping all the community. You know, when people say young people, Gambian people are lazy, especially young people, I say no. This is a clear manifestation that Gambian youth are not lazy. As long as we have the support to walk, we will walk. If we have all chiefs in different communities behave that way, trust me, I believe that young people want to work, but the support is lacking. And it's good that that particular community supported. If they did not support, you could have lost hope. If they did not embrace the project, you could have lost hope. So thumbs up to all these communities that are supporting young people and their initiatives. Yes, now let's go to the regional. You know, that's the most exciting part of it. The fact that Gambia is going to compete with other people from Chad, from Senegal, and the list goes on. How is that going to happen? How prepared is Team GTTI? I'm scared already. I have fingers crossed, but I believe in you. Yes.
Actually, we're not scared.
Okay.
We're not scared. We're the only Anglophone country actually there.
Which already makes you stand out.
Which already makes us stand out. And again, looking at the composition of our team, as we've always said, we are we comprise of technical individuals. So you can see what we are made of, and we know we are well prepared, and God willing, we shall not let Mother Gambia down. So we are prepared. We've done a lot of initiatives, as my colleague, my teammate have said. We've done a lot of initiatives like the administrative block, a store, and toilets, so that the place would be yeah. So we've also catered for means of transportation, because considering the distance from the main road to the actual park where the park is, we've also, you cannot tell people stop cutting down trees without giving them another alternative. Remember when we talked about the one house, one gas campaign. So we've gone a step forward with regards to that. We've started with the biocharcoal training for over 36 individuals there. So
that is impressive.
Yes, so that is where we are going to start with the one house, one gas campaign. Not necessarily the other gas that we use, but locally, even if they are not able, when they get the gas, how will they feel it? All of those things are another process. But how about we get it locally? They have grass there, and the grass is just left there. So how about they take that grass that is there and use it to make charcoal? So that is another initiative that we have brought forward. And Some other surprises.
Some other. Some other. So you are still focusing on climate change?
Yes.
Climate change,
same
still,
climate change,
still.
same thematic, same Jikiba.
So same Jikiba is what you're going to show out there when you go to Dakar?
Yes, Jikiba is already international.
Okay, so wow, that's interesting. Climate change. So what about the others that are there? They're also going to follow climate change, or they have other thematics?
Actually,
because it's a bit confusing, because I believe that, for instance, if you're doing climate change, you have to compete with somebody doing climate change.
Yeah.
So how is it going to work? What is the arrangement, the methodology?
I think there is this, like actually what happened in the Gambia. We have two thematics, that is climate change and human rights. So out of those thematics, two different problematics were identified. Okay. So, and this problematics, one problematic was identified. And for the side of human rights, a problematic was identified, that is where IOU and MDI focus on. And for the side of climate change, a problematic was identified, that is deforestation and bush burning. And that is where UTG and GTTI focus on. So the competition is not actually focusing more on who is able to do best on one singular thing, but it's more of how you were able to give, respond to something else that you were given. And then ours is deforestation, the problematic, and which the thematic is climate change. So actually what we will do will be based on what we will be judged on will be based on what initiative will come out in responding to climate change, and what others will do is equally the same thing in what they will do to respond to their different
That's understood then.
And again, I saw something like Chad having something that has to do with, Senegal having something that has to do with education, Chad having something that has to do with, they have different thematics, as
so which means you're going to be judged in relation to the initiative, the sustainability, and all of that.
Yes, and the progress and all of those things.
That's
so it doesn't necessarily mean that, yes, both of you should do something that has to do with bush burning, and you need to start. This is the starting line, and but it's about the initiatives,
how you'll be able to defend it,
yeah.
and the list goes on. Yes, I guess that's quite clear. But before you leave here, I want you to talk to young people who are watching in relation to engaging in community works, because you've done this free of charge. You know, it's not like you've been giving money to do this. And young people normally, they don't want to do anything for free. So how did it come about in you to be that person, that activist who does things for free and does community work for your country's development?
I think as young people, I often hear young people say, we are the future leaders of tomorrow. You're not the future leaders, you're the present leader. So if you do not start today, you can never be a leader in the future. And everyone wants to be, I want to be the president of this. I want to be the secretary general
of this organization.
They're just looking at the top positions. Titles. But you're not looking at what is doing the actual work down. You need to start from down before you reach up. So I often hear this, he that is down need fear no fall. So if you're seated down, you do not fear coming down, like being fallen. But since you're up, you're afraid of coming down on it. But once you've started something from down, you already know what is up there. So if you're up there without knowing what is down there, that is what I see in most of our youths. We sit on platforms and talk about big things and give it big grammar. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to give us a bunch of like grammatical words and statements that at the end of the day, when you look at it in depth, it doesn't even make a real sense.
Of course. That is why, Kinta, sorry, but that is why I'm eager to have you guys here. Reasons being, I don't just bring you here to talk to the public and bore them with plans. You people have already implemented something. So this is what we need as young people. People who, you don't just put policies on paper. You don't just put policies on paper and not implement them.
The work needs to
be done. The work needs to be done. And you people have implemented something that a lot of people have not implemented yet. And I know we have environmental organizations and the list goes on. But then, and anyway, how are you working with them? Are you working with any environmental organization in the Gambia?
We've planned to start up something with Green Up.
Yeah, because I know about Green Up Gambia.
I know that Green Up Gambia does what they stand for, and they don't just say words, but the action is everywhere.
I agree with you.
So for one reason or the other, we think that they are a potential partner when it comes to this. We've also tried to engage other partners, because it's amazing, Jennifer, just to know that you started that project with a mini grant of only $16,000.
No
it's
way.
amazing, because people would not know. They would think that, okay, you are paid per diem, you're paid this, and you're going to do that. No, you're not doing it for anything. You're doing it for the love that you have for your country.
Exactly.
So youths need to get that in mind. That's just one of the partners. We are trying to see how best we are going to partner with. Forestry is one part that has always been there helping us. And our biggest partner, we can always say, that is our institute, GTTI. Although they are not into these climate change issues, but when this thing came up and we said this is what we needed, anytime that we knock in their doors, they render us a giving hand. And it's amazing that the last bit of everything that we did, they fully funded everything. For the regionals.
Okay.
The school fully funded everything. And Mr. Amadou Jigo, our board chairman of Jigo's Construction, we can't tell him thank you. We can't. Thank you is not enough. I think for him, he has really been supportive, helpful. Last 2 days he has been calling us. Are you people set? Are you prepared? How far is
That's what we need as young people.
So those are the people that we need behind to push us. When we say future leaders, those are the people who can stand and say youths should do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And when I saw at the TAF and what he's doing, I was really happy with him. And as part of our winning awards, our guys are there for their internship.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Trust me, Ibrahima can tell you, they're really benefiting from it, and they're really enjoying what they have.
That's very, very important. Like you said before, we should not be running after conferences abroad to say that we are leaders. The amount of traveling that we've done doesn't determine how useful we are to the development of our country. It's about grassroots. Like you said before, you start from somewhere, and then, for instance, if you have to fall, you already know what was down there. So I guess that is a very, very important point. So what motivated you to do community work like the one that you're doing for motivation purpose for young people who are watching?
If I'm going to talk about that, I need to go at least 9 or 8 years back, because actually this started down when I was at primary school, at Serekunda School, where I was fortunate to get a form or to see or get to know about Voice of the Young. And that's where I joined when I was actually very young. And from then, you know, I started growing, I started going to events, learning, you know, doing everything voluntary. Because at then we leave Talending, walk up to Fajara just to attend voice meetings. And from them you come back home. So that actually, that passion or that therapy has been in me since when I was very young. And, you know, Voice of the Youth came in to unfold or to awaken those like hidden potentials that we have, and it has also actually compelled us to come together to respond to something that people actually believe is just a national phenomenon that can only be addressed through divine intervention. But we have came towards, you know, changing that mindset, dispelling that long age notion that, you know, climate change is an illusion, so nobody can do anything about it. So we came towards combating that, and as far as we are concerned, we are really amazed and excited about what we have done. And in addition to what Kinta was saying about the partners, we have like our own students who are actually doing a lot of thing for us, because right now we have hardcore construction who are actually in Ilyas are working on the administrative block that we are talking about. And also we have Rahim Graphics who will be, you know, doing all our graphics work for all of us, our posters, Mamos photography. I mean, we have students of GTTI who are actually participating directly in this competition. So
the team is not just 5 of us. The team is way more than 5.
Way more than that, including myself too.
Yes.
So
yeah, including myself. So I guess that is quite clear. We just have to wish you good luck. Like I said before, it's Wednesday today. Tomorrow is the competition, but still, you never know. Recommendations can come from anywhere, and it's going to reach them. And then you have to pray for them too. I think prayers work sometimes, Kinta. What do you think? It's just
it does, because when we were going for the semi-finals, that day we were having a paper exams, so everyone was already there, but we were having our exams. Then the school vehicle came, and then our management, the accountant, chief accountant, was like, you need to get the school vehicle and go with it. She was really concerned.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, you first pray for us before we leave.
Yeah,
I think that is
yeah,
important.
it's just
and the
part of
entire
us.
SU, they were like, SU executives, they were like, let's pray for you
Yeah.
before you go. And the finals was the same. We assembled and then we had prayers of our parents.
I think I appreciate GTTI so much. Like with everything that you guys are telling me, I appreciate the school because I think the amount of support that you received from your school administration is just it's a lot. It's overwhelming, and it was vital as well because that is why you were able to achieve that. Sure. And I believe that you will not go to Senegal and disappoint me and the Gambia. No. I believe that no matter what, you will come with something. And then, of course, viewers, don't worry. I will inform you of, I will give you updates of what is happening in Senegal in relation to their participation there in the Voice of the Youth. And I believe that these brilliant young people will, of course, come home with something. Yes. So, final words.
Just to say, it's the little things that we do that will get us there, not the big things. And it takes a lot of things for you to get there. It takes your determination. It also includes your sacrifice. And again, prayers, as we said. we always leaving that behind. We are always leaving home, but again, we need to thank our parents and our siblings. We're always leaving home. Like yesterday, we left home like till around after 12, and when I came home, I just met my dad seated, and he was like, yeah. So it was the opposite of what I was expecting. Yeah. So we need to really thank our parents and commend them for the support that they've also rendered.
Yeah, important. Kinta, before I go to him, I have to say this again. You talked about parents. Kinta, we have to also talk to our parents in relation to, you know, community work, not just community work, but allowing us to do what we love, our passion. Because just as you said, when you entered that room, your dad could have been, why are you coming this late? But he is in support of what you're doing. That is why he's encouraging you. So like I said before, the home matters. The home sometimes should give us that maximum support to be able to achieve what we want to. Final words.
My final word would be just an advice. Yeah. Because we, like what Les Brown said, anything worth doing, it's worth doing bad. So, and worth doing badly. So the more you are doing it with mistakes coming up, you'll be able to perfect what you're gonna do. So actually, this is something that has, you know, compelled us to, you know, realize this. But I also advise, like anybody who can help support young people, because we got a lot of young people who actually are there talking. But if they are supporting and what they're talking about, at least we will definitely see something.
The implementation will happen.
So I think it's very, very important for people to come forward, you know, compel young people to such initiatives, because, you know, this is something that comes from outside. Yeah. But if at all we have our own people who also, you know, doing a lot more in relation to that, they would definitely support us. But notwithstanding, Gail is always there supporting, you know, helping in this, and we thank them.
Yeah, and I think the gender balance is there as well in relation to the team. Yeah, because I think you're the coach.
I'm the coach.
And 2 male. Okay, that's perfect.
Because
yeah, that's perfect.
Because the focal person is now, the focal person from the community is now part of the team. Okay, and she.
Perfect. 3 female, 2 male. It could have been all female. It could have been, but
that would have been the best team.
That would have been the best. Yeah. Okay. I'm just kidding. I'm not being biased here. Yes. Viewers. Aside from this, today I have international students. That is Gambian students who are studying in India, in Morocco, and the list goes on. They have challenges that they are going through. They have explanations and recommendations that they want to give to the government of the Gambia. They study in India, they study in Morocco, but we don't know what they are going through. So they have to come here and explain to the public some of the difficulties they are facing, and as well as how it feels to study outside your country. So after this, we'll take a short break, and then we'll have them right here. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. Like I said before, today with me, aside from the Voice of the Youth, I will also host students, of course, Gambians from India, Morocco, other countries that are studying. Of course, Morocco are not here, but then India is here, and they'll speak on their behalf because they are all international students, and they can tell you how it feels to study outside the Gambia, some of the challenges that they face, and the list goes on. So today with me, I have Musa Si, as well as Mamadou Alpha Jallo. Welcome, gentlemen. It seems like I'm the only lady in the building. So I believe this is going to be a heated conversation. Yes, Mamadou Alpha, let's start with you. Talk to us about how it feels to study outside the Gambia.
First of all, I would say Assalamu alaikum to everyone, the viewers. I was in India. I studied mechanical engineering. Along with 16 of us were awarded scholarship from the Office of the President through the ICCR. So it wasn't easy anyway in the first place, because the thing is, it's like you came out from this country, you go to a place, there are no relatives. The only ones that you have there is the embassy and the people that you go with, your fellow Gambians. It's not easy. So even though also you have other Gambians there, sometimes it's like you are like somebody scared, insecure, and alone, which is also very difficult. Coupling it with education, which we all know it's not something that is easy. It's always very difficult.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get back to you very soon. Yes, let's come to you, but there's a point that you made that I would want us to address, but we'll get back to that. Yes, talk to us about studying outside the Gambia. How did you see the experience? He said the experience was difficult. How was it for you?
Once again, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all the viewers. And I thank you, first of all, for hosting this program and for allowing us to be part of it. As you said, for me, we all studied in the same place in India. And then regarding the experience of studying outside, he has mentioned some of the points. Actually, it's not easy because there are many factors which made it not to be easy with us especially. And one of the reasons is the compatibility of the area. So leaving your own place and going to a new home is not something that is easy, especially with respect to education. So there are many issues that makes it really uneasy for us.
Okay, the difficult aspect of it, is it like where you live? Is it like the money? Do you guys work? Do you guys work alongside doing the education there, or how does it work? Is it a full package? The scholarship, tell us about the scholarship in general. Is it a full package in which you'll be given allowance, accommodation, and the list goes on? How was the scholarship?
Yes, the scholarship was through the Gambian government by the Indian government, and that's called the ICCR scholarship. So basically, it was a full package, and it was, it was something that the Indian government took control of. So they are the ones who really gave the scholarship, and then they were in control of everything. So from accommodation to tuition fee and all those stuff. So it was a full package. However, with respect to that, still there were some problems, some issues that we faced. And as you have mentioned, or you have asked me, like some of the issues is with respect to the education system. That's one reason, that's one of the issues that we have faced. Financially also there were problems that we faced and the like. Okay,
when you talk about education system, what do you mean? Because that is vague, when you say education system, but what is it? Is it the language? Is it cultural differences? What is the problem here in relation to the education there?
Okay, both language and cultural difference have played a role in their education system. Actually, that part of the world is a part that we don't have much ideas about. In terms of education system, there are a lot of difference regarding what we are used to and what we know with respect to theirs. So we find a lot of difference in terms of language. There was language problem. We find a big difference in terms of language. And then in terms of the program and then the way they handle things, it was also different, because what happened is their education system has a relationship with their way of life, with their culture. And a way of life and their culture is totally different. So there is an influence of their culture, their way of life into their education system. On the other hand, in what way? In many ways, in the sense, the timing and the concept. For example, for them at the university level, we are used to a different concept, a different system, wherein the period of attending classes, the program is different. For us, what we are used to is at university, you have certain number of times, certain period that you attend classes. Like in the whole week, you don't attend it for 6 consecutive days.
How does it happen for them?
For them, it's continuous.
From Monday, you have to go to school from Monday to Saturday, and it's always from 8 in the morning to around 5.
No way!
Yeah, it's very intensive.
Yeah.
It's really not easy. And another problem that we face is that, like, for example, mathematics, the percentage of passes that we had in mathematics and English, it was around 4%, and people are crying in this country. But that place, I did science. I was in science one in high school, so I did further maths.
Yeah.
I did calculus, and I went there. The calculus that I did, it's like the smallest part of it.
Oh my
You see,
God.
you have that trigonometric calculus that we skip in this place. It was very difficult. We had to have a period of a month doing the basics again, going over everything again to be able to read on their level.
Yeah. So Alpha, I hosted people here, and they told me that Jenaba, the Gambian curriculum, Gambian education has to be taken to another level.
Yeah, it's sure. It's
Because I just remembered that when you told me that what the calculus and the further maths that we've been doing here is so low that you could not keep up when you went to India.
Yeah,
So am I right? Maybe those people are right.
Yeah,
The
it's
people
true.
who are telling me that
Yeah,
the educational curriculum should be taken to another level,
Yeah.
or the educational system of the Gambia should be taken to another level.
Yeah, it's,
Do you agree with
yeah,
that?
The mathematics aspect of it, yeah, we really need to improve. Even though some people are complaining that mathematics is that, this and that, we really have to improve. But one thing also, when it comes to, I was a science student, when it comes to chemistry and physics, we were better than those Indian students
Okay.
there. So thanks to my high school teachers, physics and chemistry.
Nusrat down
Mr.
there.
Yeah, Mr. Conte and Koidia, I was very appreciative of your work. But when it comes to mathematics, for the mathematics, for example, it was something else. You have a lot of theorems to know. You have trigonometric identities and everything,
Yeah.
all those things. It was very
It
difficult.
was difficult in
So
that
we
aspect.
had to have something like a month of this thing. of
Orientation.
Yeah, and but
Before
but then the fact that you talked about the fact that you go to school from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock and you go to school every single day,
Every single
I think that is a little bit hectic. But I believe that if you have to go for masters or PhD,
I
it
hope
won't affect you.
I hope it won't be like that.
Yeah, but then come to think of it, I believe that you'll be able to handle any kind of studies that you have to do, considering that intensive studies.
Yeah,
I
will be.
believe so.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
It
we'll
wasn't-
we'll get back to you. Yes, you want to say something, I believe.
No, actually, like with regard to the system, the format of education, as I said, is different from what we are used to. Okay, that's their own way of doing things, but we have to take it into consideration before going there. Like, we have to know what kind of system people undergo through. Because if you come there without knowing the background of their system, there will be a problem for you to adapt. That's one thing. So with respect to the system of education, as I said, the timing is long, the periods, and then the program is too light. So this has something that it is related to their way of life. Because what they believe in is, even at university, they believe that their children, like the students, their own students, should not have time. So one of the reasons why this system is implemented is with respect to their concept, their notion
Their
of the
culture.
society, their culture. Because they feel that their own students are not that much mature to able to handle free time and do something important when there's free time. So now, in order to make them busy, now they decided to make the system in this way,
Yeah, but
meaning
then
continuous and intensive.
do you think then for the scholarship before you leave, these students who are selected, for instance, should be called for a meeting and or be taken through the learning system in India, for instance? Was that done when you guys were about to leave, for instance? I just want to know.
No, it wasn't done. In fact, we were not aware of the system there, and neither those who are responsible for us to go there are aware of the system there.
You
That-
see, there was
that-
no
but
like,
that was bad.
there was supposed to be a prior knowledge of
Orientation, for
orientation
instance.
of whatever.
Exactly.
So
That's
mean
what
you
we
guys just got the scholarship and you just got a call that you have to go to India and you just packed your stuff and went to
Yes.
India?
Yes,
That is
that's
how it
it's
happened?
yeah.
Is that still happening? Is that the present case? Did you just have, when you were in India, did you have a fresh batch coming recently?
Yeah, students are going, yeah.
Students are going.
Yeah,
And I'm afraid that maybe they still don't know that this and this and this is going on.
Yeah.
So I believe that you are the ambassadors from India then. You are the ambassadors. You have to sensitize the public. You have to talk to young people who are going to high school, for instance, to enlighten them about what is happening there, to give them a heads up. I'm not saying that people should not go to India for studies, but then they should know the conditions there to know if they will be able to handle it or not. Because you could not just call somebody and tell them you have a scholarship, you go to India, and when you go there, it's a different story, you know. So I even know of a person who went to India and came back. The 16 people, did you all graduate?
Yeah. we have 2 people there, but the system is very difficult. But
some people quit.
Yeah.
I know of people who quit.
Actually, our fellow students from other countries that we have, they have faced similar situation, as you said. For Gambians, I don't know, but for other countries like other African countries who are there, we are having colleagues who quit.
But one
They
thing though,
quit. They
one
go to
thing
India
though,
and quit.
Gambians, when they are outside this country, usually they really do well.
Okay,
They
they are
really do
strong.
well. Yeah, we are very strong. Alhamdulillah. to that. Yeah, even in the place that we were, like.
How is the accommodation?
That one I will leave it to Musa. He can say something.
He can say, yeah. Musa, how is the accommodation, Musa?
All right, just before going to that point, just to make it clear regarding like the issue of the prior knowledge, it is not only with respect to India, but it is any other place where you are going to. People should, the authorities concerned, they should have prior knowledge of the place
Yeah.
before taking the students there. The prior knowledge will include the education system. Let them try to relate it. We don't expect exactly what is happening here. And we know that when we go there, we have to double up effort. We have to try, we have to comply, we have to try and adapt. But don't just have the notion that when you go there, adapt. But then you need preparation, some steps to take. You cannot be in the system, then now you begin to prepare yourself. That can bring psychological problem, and it can lead to other issues. So what the concerned authorities should do is, whenever there is scholarship to any other place, let them understand the education system in that place. And with respect to that, now they will orient the students and inform them. At least they can have prior knowledge before getting there. That's one thing. And then the best way to do that is to have a relationship with the embassy there. Those people should know the area that they are going to, even up to the institute, the university or college where they will be admitted, the position of the college in the country, the area, because some countries are there, their division of states, the state will dictate how they function. Even in the same nation, you have different states. For example, you have URR, LRR. The way URR function with their education system is different from the way LRR.
Over there?
Yes, over there.
Different regions with their different
Wow.
Yes, over there they have that.
Okay, in India there.
The culture in India is something else.
Yeah, it's
It's-
just
it's
something
different,
else.
yeah,
We are
it's,
not trying to say the culture there is bad,
Yeah.
but then sometimes when you experience some certain things, you have to come back home and explain what you've gone through.
Yes.
So take us through the accommodation, because sometimes I see students who are studying in India, they take photos, and I don't really like,
The food.
not the food, but I don't like the way the surrounding is sometimes. So now that you people are here, you know, sometimes we just have crazy thoughts, but you have to bring somebody to justify or somebody to make clarification. How is the accommodation in India for our Gambian students?
The accommodation also varies. So if you talk about accommodation, you are including even the housing and the food, right? You
Both.
talk
Yeah,
in
okay,
total.
let's talk about the housing, both the housing and the food.
Okay, based on our experience, it varies from place to place. So again, this takes us back to the point that before the students come into this institute or the university, first there should be prior knowledge regarding the university, the education system, and also their accommodation. Because what happened in India is, this accommodation issue, the housing specifically, it varies. There are certain universities, certain colleges, they have hostels. And in those hostels, like 2 is combined to a room or 3. That's one way. Another way is a big hall, for example, like a hospital hall. You know, in a hospital, you have beds up and down, something like that. There are certain institutes or colleges in India that have such kind of accommodations. So, they can nekk ci benn salle.
Yéen ñëpp.
Yéen ñëpp ku nekk ak lalam.
And most of the time they have shared bathrooms with that big thing. People that are there are some hostels that you know that you all have. You share.
Just a big hall like
Hall
that.
like this. Ngeen am seen bed ci biir.
ñëpp nekk fa te
Nekk
xam
fa.
naa ne suñu yaay ak suñu papa yi xamuñ ne loolu lañ faa dunda.
So that's one type of accommodation. There are colleges that provide that kind. And then there are colleges that provide specific rooms. You have a block, a dormitory, then you have rooms, and then there is like 2 people per room, you know, minimum. The best you can expect is 2 people per room. But some others tells you that it is free. Because what happened is, we face some problems and we find out the other areas also what they are facing. But what happened in some countries like India, there is always differences with respect to each state, each one has its own way of doing things. So basically what we are saying is, before taking someone to these countries, don't expect what you have here the same way.
Okay.
But then, even if you don't expect what you have here to be there, but at least try to find something that is close to what you have, and then take your people there. Because if there is big difference, that means there is problem of compatibility at a higher level, and that can cause a lot of problems. So with the housing, there are problems. So people should consider that also before taking the students to there.
And the parents are watching.
Yeah.
The parents are watching as well, because your child will just come and say, I have a scholarship to go to India. I'm not saying they should not go, but let's have proper investigations. And authorities as well. Authorities are watching. You know, is it Ministry of Higher Education who was responsible at your time?
Yeah.
It was the Ministry of Higher Education.
Some people applied through the Ministry of Higher Education.
Okay.
And some it was announced from the Office of the President.
So how was the selection done? Based on your grade 12 results or what?
Based on grade 12 results.
Based on grade 12 results.
Yeah, but I don't know the former government how it was like. But the thing, the selection being from the Office of the President, I don't know, because everything was forwarded back to higher education. Maybe they were just trying to create a name for themselves. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
But then, that is how you feel.
How it's like.
Yeah.
Because we applied their demand, told, submitted in the reception, they will get back to us. From there, they forwarded everything back to higher education. See? So whatever we were doing at that time, even when we are going, the announcement, the Office of the President was there, I think.
Okay. And you were never told that this and this and this is what is happening there?
Okay, we went there without even they themselves knowing a lot about the scholarship itself. That is how I can say it. They didn't know it. The guy that we had, yeah, he was very supportive. Papa Sane of higher education. I'm not sorry if I'm supposed to mention him.
Yeah, that's fine. You go ahead.
Yeah, he was very helpful. Really, he was trying to help us a lot. But the thing is, he himself didn't know where exactly we are going to.
Okay. So talk to us. When you reached the airport, how did it work? How did you know that this is where I'm supposed to be and all that? How was the process?
Thank you very much, Jennifer. I'm going to answer you before even in India, the problem that happened in Dakar. So they divided our group into two. They divided the group into two. Some people were supposed to leave in the morning, and some left in the evening. So what they told us was, you have to look for somebody that lives in Dakar, a relative or a friend. You go and stay there, because we're supposed to spend the night in Dakar.
They asked you to do that?
Yeah, to do that. You see? So for people like me that were, I don't know, unfortunate to leave in the morning, we left here and we were there around 11 in the morning. And honestly, if you should see how Gambians were like, nobody knows anywhere. This is in Dakar. You see, some of us were never in Dakar. So who is going to help? That's the first time you realize that, yeah, I'm no more in the Gambia. I'm sure you know, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm no more in the Gambia. Where are my people? Even though they say Senegal and Gambia, but the relationship, but there is still a difference.
I know.
So we are supposed to go to places, find where we are going to stay with our luggages and everything, and spend the night there till the next day. Some other people came in the evening. So those people, they were lucky to come with the guide. The guide. So they found a place. One of the guys that we went with has a relative there. They all went there. But for those of us that were in the morning, that came in the morning, you have a relative. When the relative comes, he or she will select a particular number of people. They go with the person. If none of us had a relative there,
you just have to look for somewhere.
Or we'll just spend the night
at the
airport. But what happened also, the traffic in Senegal, it's very distant. Coming to the airport, it's always very jammed. It's always very jammed. So some people, 3 of them, the next day, when they were coming back to the airport, where they're coming from, they spend the night. It was very far from the airport. So when they were coming, the traffic was very distant.
So they missed the flight.
Yeah, very good. They missed the flight.
And what happened to those people?
So that's where when they started moving, going to offices, the airlines, everything, trying to see how they can help each other. So we called the then permanent secretary. So he said they should go to the Indian embassy. Those people, they said they are not going to pay the money because there is a certain amount of, I don't know, fine,
allocated for
yeah,
the budget
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, they are not going to pay that thing.
Yes,
So thank God, the permanent secretary, they found a way of paying the money.
So to solve the problem.
Yeah. So those people left the next day.
The next day.
Yeah.
So that is where the difficulty started.
Yeah.
So that is what it means.
That's where it started. All the programs started from there.
Okay.
From that thing only, you will know that the
journey is not easy.
It's not going to be easy, and there
know.
was no enough preparation
For this.
made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See?
Okay. I believe that duty bearers are watching, young people are watching, parents are watching. They can learn a lot from what you're saying, because I know I don't know the system as we speak, because all that you're saying is new to me.
Yeah.
You know, I have to go and do my own investigation to know if people who are going to India are still experiencing this. If this is still happening, then something has to be done.
Yeah.
I believe that something has to be done, and duty bearers should be held accountable.
Yes.
Musa, let's talk about that. I know the allowance. How was it going? Hope you were receiving your monthly allowance properly to be able to take care of yourselves.
Actually, with respect to that also, there is a starting point. Some of the scholarships mention that have something with you prior to going there.
You just have to prepare yourself.
Okay, this is not funny, you guys.
Yeah,
this is not funny, but sometimes you just have
it's
to
serious,
laugh.
yeah, because what happened is if there's something like that, it means you need to prepare well. So this is a point that even the authorities who are giving the scholarship should understand. And now they should discuss it with the students, whether they have to take the responsibility or the students. For example, in our case, the Indian government said have pocket money with you. In fact, they even mentioned certain amount that have it with you, because when you get there, we might not give you your allowance at that instant. So you will take care of yourself maybe for 1 week or 2 weeks. So we were informed. And now the question is it our authority who will take that part or not? But then that option was open, and then we here have to resolve that. So what I'm saying in this case, before prior, let people know what does it entail. If there is anything mentioned like that, then let them resolve it. Because some might go without anything, thinking that, okay, everything
it's a scholarship.
But they should not even do that, because
so that
going
point should be clear, and they should take note of that, the authorities here and the students going. Now when we get there, after, as these people, Indians, they said, okay, after 1 week we'll give you, and that's what happened. We stood there for maybe, I think, 1 week or 2 weeks before they gave us the allowance, the monthly allowance.
I hope the monthly allowance is something that was able to sustain you people.
At that time, it wasn't.
No, not even at that time. It is never enough.
It is never enough.
You are forced to stay in a hostel. You have to pay more than 50% of what they are giving you, and you have 20% for yourself, less than 50% for you. You have other things to take care of. You have the clothing, the food, they take care of it in the hostel. But
hope the food is good.
It wasn't okay for me. There was a time actually when I was eating plain rice and ketchup.
Plain rice and ketchup.
It's their food is spicy.
Okay.
I could not eat it.
You could not.
But it went up to a point that we were given the permission to cook in our rooms. That's when we started cooking. I can cook benachin. I can cook domoda.
Yeah.
I can cook a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But the simplest thing that you know that at that time that helped me a lot was
the plain rice and the ketchup.
Yeah. And this also I was able to make omelette thanks to the shopkeepers in this place.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see them and you learn something from them.
And then
that omelette and bread, it helped a lot.
Down there in India.
Yeah, it helped. It helped a lot.
I know, must have been difficult.
So the more than 50% goes to the food.
More than 50% goes to accommodation and food.
The accommodation is paid, but more than 50% the hostel takes it as food. But you are left with a very little amount. You have assignments to do. You have photocopying to do. You see?
All that is on you.
All that is on you. You have a lot of other things, clothing, all those things, they are on you. And when we went, they said, since you are an engineer, you have to dress like an engineer. You don't have to go with polo shirts and t-shirts. You have to put on shirts.
And which it should come from your pocket as well.
See? And we were not prepared for that.
And you weren't told.
Yeah. That's India's system. For us here, that wasn't our system.
Okay.
We are not part of it. For us, you go to university, dress however you want.
Understood, yes.
So now, with respect to that, it's not the fault of the those who give the scholarship. Now, in that case, we have to take our own responsibility, meaning our authorities should know the kind of scholarship we are achieving, our allowance, whether it will be able to sustain us.
Yeah.
And with respect to that, now they will see what to provide us with. One time, muno ko baye lepp ci gaay nga baye lepp ci Indian government ñom luñu am lañuy joxe su doyut yena xam so légui ñom ñun ñu dem fofu fekk doyut ñi xamuñ ci dara légui ñun nekk ci digënté bi rek. So actually the government was trying to help, that I will say, yeah, but then it was small. So that's where we have financial problem throughout our state.
Okay.
But the thing is, even to get that small thing, it wasn't easy. Compared to other countries there, we receive something that is less than what they receive in a year.
People. No way.
Yeah. In a year, what we receive is usually less than what those people are receiving in a month.
Okay, that must have been difficult.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry for this difficult experience. But one last question before we leave. Do you regret going to India? Do you regret? Because this question that you're about to answer is going to guide young people, parents who are watching. Do you regret going to India? Do you sometimes sit in India and say that I would have preferred going to the University of the Gambia? Did that happen to you?
Yeah, while I was there, it happened. But the thing is, I grew up with that experience. You see? Now, even to other places also, because of the experience that I had in India, I've grown. See? I've been able to manage my stuffs. See? I'm able to be careful because while you are there, you are exposed to so many things. The Indians, some of them, they are not that welcoming. So I'm used to it now. You see? The difficult life, sometimes staying, the assignment, the pressure in the educational system, the load, everything. It helped me a lot, even though it wasn't easy. But while to those kids that are looking forward to going for studies, you really have to be, this thing, how am I going to? Yeah, pick well. And you have to be prepared for anything that you are going to face outside. See? Don't let it break you down. While I was there, the only thing that I was focusing on was to do what I'm supposed to do, have my grades, have a very good result, and come back home.
And here you are.
Yeah, I am
so
here
how
again.
are the grades? I believe they're good.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah, so looking forward to having a good job then.
Yeah, that's also another problem in the Gambia.
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Yeah, some of us, we are here since then. We've been going to many offices, and it's a problem.
Job opportunities.
Job
you
opportunities.
feel like they are limited.
They are very limited. So in engineering, there are two types: the circuits and the non-circuits. Most of those that studied with the circuits, it's like the computer science and the electronics and everything. Those with the circuit type, those people, some of them are having jobs, but for those that studied mechanical, for example me, I'm finding it difficult to find a place
to work.
Yeah, to work. But anyway, one thing also they have to know that is that though the government is there, do not depend fully on them. You have your brain, you have your knowledge. Create something of your own. You see? Create something of your own. I've seen some people doing that. People like like Sakina, it's a new software company, and the Gambia Robotics Hub that are trying to train students on the STEM programs. You know STEM, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have Iron Strength Engineering. Those people also are based on this thing. Their work is based on the fabrication of agricultural the agricultural machines that help farmers outside. Yeah, those people are Gambians and they are young. Most of them are below 25 and they are doing that.
Yeah.
So while you are away, or even in the Gambia, once you come back, do not fully depend on them.
Yeah, you have to try to
You have to create something for yourself.
Yeah, due to time constraints, yes. Final words.
Okay, my final word is just to add something to what he has said. Anyway, as you have questioned him, you cannot say there is regret, no, because the long-term benefit outweighs the short-term backlogs we have, disadvantages. However, it doesn't mean because there is long-term benefit we should ignore the short-term
the difficulties. We should not.
We shouldn't, because only few are able to overcome those obstacles. Because we have seen that in other countries where they were faced with a lot of problems. Some decided to go home, drop the scholarship. Some are still there. and all this is because of the difficulties they are facing. And some, in fact, went to a very strange level of even losing some, you know, having some psychological depression because of the situation. And all this is things that can be resolved if there is proper coordination. So the problem we have faced, you know, and not only in India, but even in other countries, from Morocco and all others, because we have contact with them, and,
and you know what they're going through over there.
So the reasons for those issues is because of there is problem of coordination, organization, that and both at home and there. But then you cannot put, you cannot concentrate much on those people, because for them they give you the scholarship, so they feel that they have done a lot. But the remaining, you should do it. And how you should do, you should have a knowledge of what is going on there, how they are doing their things, and then you try to organize it.
Can I say something?
Just quickly, time constraints.
I will also, despite the difficulties, I'm still going to thank them for offering, for selecting me in the first place, and to thank my parents. They've been supportive. The people from Selakunda, the people from Waikunda, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for helping.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I want to also say sorry for some of the difficulties that you've gone through over there. All of these things that you've explained are very, very difficult. And this program is important. I like this program simply because duty bearers, no matter how small, some of them are watching, no matter how small, parents are watching, young people are watching, they will be careful in relation to the scholarships that they have to take to go, and then vet these things properly. And then if duty bearers are watching too, I know that they will try by all means to coordinate the scholarships well. Yes, viewers, before I leave here, just to remind you that Rugi's Creation gave me this outfit. She's right there in Banjul. The numbers are right in front of you. Take it, call her, and she will give you an outfit as nice as this or even better. Till I come your way next week, inshallah. Stay tuned.